Shalum. Shalom and welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present to those who are drawn by the Almighty Creator Yahuah, to His word that is manifest before us in the name of Yahusha. He also sent His set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name. There's a sequence of events in which the Almighty Father laid out for His children, the chosen ones of Yahuah, restored into life, awakened by His word, Yahusha. No Trinity. In this series, in line, messages that I have queued up, lined up to present before you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. I consider you my brother and my sister. And in this segment of In Line, I want to talk about pointers and misled. Pointers and misled. There's no doubt changes are occurring in the world, my brothers and sisters. Civil unrest. Will we see civil war? It's going on right now in other parts of the world. Wars and rumors of wars, fightings, nations rising against nations, nationalities against nationalities. Famine is increasing and will reach the face of everyone on this planet in some way, shape, or form. Diseases will spread. Deadly diseases. How do we navigate them? It will be through the guidance from the Almighty Father, through His set-apart spirit. Trust and believe. There will be guides. There will be those used to help one another come closer together and move in the direction in which the Almighty Father will have us to go. And we will witness proof of what He has promised before His set-apart children. End times are here. This means movement will come for many of us. Please note this, O Yashar'al. Isaiah 11:12 says, "And He shall raise a banner for the nations and gather the outcasts of Yashar'al, and assemble the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth." This requires movement. You see, Yashar'al, movement will come. You might be one anointed to lead permanently, temporarily. There will be intermittent movement. The curiosities will come. The pointers will come. And there will be those misled. It is very important to know the words pointers and misled. Know what the words pointers and misled represent. Many will be directed in one way as leaders. As leaders point to where they desire to go or stay. Keep in mind, O Yashar'al, those who follow the wrong individuals risk being misled in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. Let me read Isaiah 43, 5 through 9. Isaiah 43, 5 through 9. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. I shall bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I shall say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. All those who are called by my name, whom I have created, formed, even made from my esteem. He shall bring out a blind people who have eyes, and deaf ones who have ears. All nations shall be assembled, and the peoples be gathered. Who among them declares this, and show us former events? Let them give their witness to be declared right, and let them hear and say it is true. The Almighty Father Yahuah promised to gather his children. Know that there will be some that will fall away due to unbelief, undiscerning, still on milk. There will be those that will be martyrs for Yahusha's name. There are people who prefer to make you feel good by just showing the verses that say none will be left behind. They don't realize that martyrs for Yahusha's name and those that are dying now before the physical return and before the final exodus, that our spirit goes to the bosom of Abraham. So it's not left behind. So when they say none is left behind, it's talking about spiritually, and those that are physically alive will be gathered. The destruction that's coming, my brothers and sisters, it's coming. And it will rain on the just and the unjust, the saved and the unsaved. Some will experience. Some will be the last words individuals will hear before destruction hit that particular landmass. But make no mistake, the reality is there are those called to fulfill what the Almighty Father has promised, and there will be those that will be taken home or to sleeps. I should say sleep, the bosom of Abraham. Many people would rather tell you and show you one verse that say all and none left behind, but won't explain it. They won't qualify it. Misleading people. Pointers. Believe it or not, they pointers to slothfulness, laziness. They mislead individuals to not realize that we must seek to discern what it takes to come together in unity. And I believe there will be natural disasters that will occur that will make us physically weak momentarily. And in that physical weakness, we will rise up in the strength and the spirit of set apartness. You see, right now, everyone has a story to tell, but not many of us listen to one another. There's a lot of listening to talk. More on this final exodus. Jeremiah 23:3 said, therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear an increase. What does it take? That is the question we must ask. This is one of the reasons discipline and refinement will come. This is one of the reasons we will be renewed day by day, even though we will see that outward man perishing, preparing us to fulfill these words. There will be those who will indeed do this, that. Ezekiel 20:34 says, and I shall bring you out from the peoples and gather you out from the lands where you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with wrath poured out. What does that look like, my brothers and sisters? Seek to discern and understand. The conditions of this world is deteriorating. Come with me to Ezekiel 34, verses 11 through 17. Ezekiel 34, 11 through 17 says, for thus saith the Master Yahuah, see, I myself shall search for my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeks out his flock on the day of he is among the scattered sheep. So I shall seek out my sheep and deliver them from all the places where they were scattered. In a day of cloud and thick darkness, I shall bring them out from the peoples and gather them from the lands, and shall bring them to their own land. And I shall feed them on the mountain of Yashar'al, in the valleys, and in all the dwellings of the land. In good pasture I shall feed them, and their fold shall be on the high mountain of Yashar'al. They shall lie there in a good fold, and feed in rich pasture, on the mountains of Yashar'al. I shall feed my flock and make them lie down, declares the Master Yahuah. I shall seek out the lost and bring back the strayed. I shall bind up the broken and strengthen what was sick. But the fat and the strong I shall destroy. I shall feed them with right ruling. And as for you, O my flock, thus said the Master Yahuah, see, I am judging between sheep and sheep between rams and goats. Yashar'al, with all of this that is going to occur, do not think that people are looking for someone pointing. What direction do we go? Where are the pointers that are anointed by the Almighty Father? It's time to know how to identify whether they're pointing you in the right direction or not. Who are among the misled? And I will talk about that in a moment, my brothers and sisters. For there are many false prophets. There are brothers and sisters who are just undiscerning. They're still on milk, inexperienced in understanding the full word, the living word of the Almighty Father, who are misguiding and misleading people. And there are those who want to just think and say it's okay. We all have opinions. We have an obligation to seek what the orders of the Almighty Father are and witness him prove who's lying and who's not, who's discerning his voice and who's not. There are those who would say the gathering I presented have occurred already. Wrong pointers, misled. Be informed, there are many things that have occurred in times past that have similar characteristics as what we are witnessing today. I want you to know that the Almighty Father does not change. It is written in the scripture that he changes not. And whatever has occurred in times past could also occur again. Some things could also repeat themselves. The Almighty Father have used famine and pestilence and disease to humble his people throughout the ages. Malachi, about no change. Malachi 3:6 says, for I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. And he reflects those same words in James 1:17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change nor shadow of turning. Stay with me, Yashar'al. Yes, we are eager. We are anxious. We are fearful. If the fear is the fear of Yahuah, that is the beginning of knowledge, and that will lead to wisdom and understanding. There will be a final exodus. With this stated, it is time to begin seeking to know what must and will come to be. Not just talking about it. Be prepared to move. Remember these warnings and take heed to them, my brothers and sisters. Matthew 24:5 says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. Some think this is saying that individuals are just saying they are the Messiah, but this also refers to people that are saying the Messiah told them. Yah told them this. The Most High, I'm just doing what Yah told me. I'm just being obedient. But many will lead a lot of individuals astray. The love of many will become cold. Some will be corrected and receive the correction with joy. Others will fight to the end and tell you, Yah told them, Yahuah told them, the Spirit of Yahusha, the Ruach HaKodesh told them, and they will lead many. It didn't say might, they will lead many astray. Matthew 24:11-12 say, and many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. Do we see lawlessness unraveling, unfolding across the world. Beware of pointers whose hand or fingers or mouths shape your direction in a way that is incorrect. Excuse me. My brothers and sisters, I have witnessed two major choices when it comes to returning to the promised land. There is one position of which I agree, that I believe the promised land is between the Euphrates River and part of the Pishon, which is currently the Nile rivers. There's another position people have chosen that states the promised land is in Sub-Saharan Africa. Keep in mind the scriptures warn us that many will be led astray. I have also seen individuals just promoting Africa or the continent. Be careful, be cautious, ask the right questions, and study. Allow me to bring your attention my brothers and sisters, to Jeremiah 44, 12 through 14. Jeremiah 44, verses 12 through 14. 44, 12 through 14. It says, "And I shall take the remnant of Yahuah who have set their faces to go into the land of Mizraim," some translations say Egypt, "to sojourn there. And they shall all be consumed in the land of Mizraim, fall by the sword, consumed by scarcity of food," which is the same as famine. "From the least to the greatest they shall die by the sword and by scarcity of food. And they shall be an oath and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach. And I shall punish those dwelling in the land of Mizraim as I have punished Jerusalem, by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence. And none of the remnant of Yehudah who have gone into the land of Mizraim to sojourn there shall escape or survive, lest they return to the land of Yehudah, to which they are longing to return to dwell there. But they shall not return except those who escape." Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, believe it or not, I want you to know this. There's a region, there's a piece of land from the Euphrates to the Nile that the Almighty Father has given Abraham's seed, that he has promised to the seed of Abraham, the children, the set-apart children of Yahuah. This includes those who are also grafted in and made one by Yahusha HaMashiach. And that place, though it may seem barren and mostly desert right now, it has not always been like that. And the Almighty promises to replenish, to give us all that we need. But there are those who will have you think that the promised land is in Sub-Saharan Africa, and they criticize the desert of what is mostly the promised land as between the Nile and the Euphrates River. They criticize that, looking with their eyes, unaware of the power and might of the Almighty Father. I believe if the Almighty Father is telling us, which I believe he is, that this is the land that he's given us, anything outside of that land represents the land of bondage. And the word Egypt means bondage. Mizraim reflects bondage. Anything outside the promised land is Mystery Babylon. It's collectively Mystery Babylon. And the Almighty Father do not want us to just be going to the continent. The destination for his children is the promised land. When choosing your position, I want you to be mindful, my brothers and sisters. And there are those who say they're going to stay in America. There's even a small percentage that think this is the promised land. Come with me to Genesis 26, 1 through 5. And it reads, and there was a scarcity of food in the land. That's famine. Besides the first scarcity of food, which was in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines in Gerar. And Yahuah appeared to him and said, do not go down to Mizraim. Live in the land which I command you. Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and bless you. For I give all these lands to you and your seed, and I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars in the heavens. And I shall give all these lands to your seed, and in your seed all nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commands, my laws, my Torah. And Torah is talking about instructions, my brothers and sisters. That's what Torah or Torah means, instructions. Clearly, I showed you in Genesis 26 chapter, in Jeremiah 44 chapter, where the Almighty Father was adamant about not going into Mizraim, not going into Egypt, not going into other lands. You see, Mizraim and Egypt represents lands of bondage. I am compelled to believe that anywhere outside the boundaries of the land that was promised, the promised land, anywhere outside of that is the area of bondage. Choose wisely where you intend to go. If you believe you will return to the promised land, examine the pointers. Who's pointing to directions that ultimately will end with being in the promised land? Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. End times are before us. The realities of what is promised, what is prophesied, is unfolding before our very eyes. There are and will be righteous pointers, yet there will be individuals misled. This will be a good time to make life or death decisions. At least we find ourselves following the wrong pointers by going in the wrong direction. If we clearly show those who are and will be misled by going the wrong direction, it will clearly show those who are and will be misled. What say you, my brothers? Do you know what questions to ask? Do you know how to follow the pointers? Do you know how to avoid being misled? Examine all things and know that these words represent pointers and misled. Examine all things and know what these words represent. I'm ahead of myself and I'm stumbling. Pray for me. Pointers and misled. They represent a call to be careful, cautious, and have a ready mind to respond correctly to those who are pointing as we find ourselves moving. Prepare to move, O Yashar'al. Gird up. Some will leave with just the clothes on their back. Some will leave with supplies and resources. We will come together. Movement has begun for many, and movement will come for many more. And ultimately, we will find ourselves reaching that destination, that region, centered around the mountain of Yahuah, the true Mount Sinai, commonly known right now as Jabal al, situated in the northwest quadrant of Saudi Arabia. We will learn the true promised land. If you prefer to just go to the continent outside the land that the Almighty Father has given. Be mindful of the destruction that will come. Be mindful of the pain and regret that will come. And if you are pointing people to the continent or Sub-Saharan Africa, you are misleading individuals. Seek to discern what is right. And to those who follow the esteem of just get to the continent, remember the choice that you make could be the very last choices that you make. But make no mistake, what has been promised by the Almighty Father and him gathering his children will come to be. Yashar'al, there's so much work to be done. And if you listen to the messages that I've laid out, it talks about details and processes and things to consider. And I know I'm not alone, O Yashar'al. There are others who bear witness to these words. And my messages may confirm what they're saying, and theirs may be confirming what I'm saying. Make no mistake, the plan of the Almighty Father will come to be, and it will come to be successfully. On that note, stay tuned. There's much work to be done. Pointers and misled. Where do you fall in the spectrum of the pointers? Are we among the misled, or are we among the obedience? Pray and watch. We can examine. We can discern. We can choose righteously as the Almighty Father directs our footsteps and guide us through these trying times. On that note, I thank you for your tolerance and your patience. If I said anything that moves you, that stirs your spirit, that gives you pause to ask and seek the Almighty Father for clarity on what you are to be doing now, consider sharing, subscribing, like. Let the message get out to others. For you may be given the responsibility to spread the word. What will your answer be to the Almighty Father if he said he allowed these words to come to you, before you, and you did nothing with them, or you handled them recklessly? Sometimes it's better to point the person to the source of the words you've heard. Sometimes, in case you misinterpret what is being said. There's a lot of us don't realize that in all the distractions that are going on right now, so many people is listening to talk and not actively listening. I've witnessed this happen over and over again. My brother, my sister, this is serious. Let us come together. Let us begin to move closer to one another. Let us begin to head in the direction that the Almighty Father would have us go. I'll pause right here, but stay tuned. There is much, so much more to come. I end by saying, Shalum to you, my brother, my sister. Be encouraged. The plan is unfolding clearly before our eyes. Shalom.